Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The number of coronavirus deaths in the United States has now hit 6 figures. Even as the nation mourns those losses, it continues to move to reopen the economy. CBS's Elise Preston begins our coverage from New York.
The official number of COVID-19 victims rose past 100,000 on Wednesday, but much of the country is now focused on returning to some level of normal activity. Even hard-hit states are reopening after months of stay-at-home orders.
When you look at the curve in the state of New York, we are down. We're on the other side of the mountain, as we say.
The CDC has issued guidelines for venturing out again, saying people should open windows in vehicles whenever possible, especially in taxis. They should enter and exit buses through the rear door only. And if they've tested positive, they should wait at least 10 days before interacting with other people.
Lower risk does not mean no risk.
In Washington, religious gatherings now have the state's blessing to resume, though with limited capacity and other restrictions.
Certain parts of our services will need to defer for the moment, including some choirs. Singing in the congregation is allowed, but with face coverings.
Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado has reopened, but only partially. Visitor centers remain closed, as do some campgrounds. But after a day of bumper-to-bumper traffic at the entrance, officials are looking to set up a staggered admission system. Bars and other businesses are reopening in Arkansas despite rising infection numbers.
We're right at the same level almost of the previous peak in hospitalizations.
With the virus still spreading in more than half of U.S. states, some events are still not happening. Wyoming has called off the Cheyenne Frontier Day scheduled for July 13th. The rodeo has been held every year since 1897, including during the 1918 Spanish flu and both world wars. Elise Preston, CBS News.
Here in Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear announced 127 new cases and 6 new deaths today. That brings the totals to 9,077 and 400 respectively. Now more than 3,100 people have recovered. While those numbers keep rolling in, we are still hearing from both sides of the aisle about the hanging of the governor in effigy at the state capitol Sunday. Today, House Democratic leaders called on Republican leaders, saying Kentucky deserves no less than the official censure of Republican State Representative Savannah Maddox. Shelby Smithson explains why they say her actions set the stage for Sunday's incident and what Representative Maddox says in response.
We are calling on the House Republicans to begin the formal censure proceedings of Representative Maddox.
It's a call to action by House Democratic leaders who say State Representative Savannah Maddox crossed a line.
Enough is enough.
At the press conference Wednesday, State Representatives Joni Jenkins, Derek Graham, and Angie Hatton displayed tweets made by Maddox before she was serving as a state representative, calling them hateful and intolerant. House Democratic leaders say those tweets and Maddox's presence at previous rallies set the stage for what happened here on the grounds of the state capitol on Sunday. That's when this video was taken, when a group hanged an effigy of Governor Andy Beshear from a tree. Maddox did issue a statement about the incident, saying she condemns all acts of hatred in the context of political discourse. But Democratic leaders say they still aren't satisfied.
I saw that statement. I don't feel that it went far enough. I think she and other elected representatives, legislators who have been appearing on state grounds over the course of the last month or so have fanned the flames to what we saw on Sunday.
Maddox responded Wednesday night, saying in part this press conference is part of a concerted effort to shift blame onto legislators who have stood by Kentuckians who are hurting. Further, she says she and other leaders were not at the rally Sunday, and still she condemns the acts of hate. Now it's up to House Republican leaders if they will answer the call. At the state capitol, Shelby Smithson, WKYT.
The entire General Assembly would need to be in session for a formal censure process. It would take 2/3 of the House to agree to formally censure Maddox.
Well, we've seen those gloomy conditions kind of throughout the day. Some scattered rain chances, overall not been too bad, but some areas could see some heavier downpours heading into tonight. First, we'll take you up to a few of those cameras, though, as we look over into Pikeville on US 119, US 23. You could see those thicker clouds right before the sun set. Looks like they remain mostly on the drier side throughout the day and throughout most of the evening hours. As we look into downtown Whitesburg, you'll notice that it's really dry over there as well. Pretty quiet night for a lot of us. Pinpoint Doppler showing some heavier bands of rain over into parts of Virginia and over into parts of West Virginia. And this is remnants from Tropical Depression Bertha that impacted the Carolinas a little bit earlier today. So going to bring some heavy rain over into Virginia and over into West Virginia. Now tonight we'll see temperatures dropping into about the lower 60s. Scattered showers possible throughout the night tonight and into tomorrow. More storms expected for your Thursday and even into your Friday. The rest of that forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Uncertainty. That's how a handful of businesses are feeling about the local economy. Kentucky's unemployment claims are above 600,000. Some business owners that closed their doors months ago are realizing that those doors will stay shut permanently. Others, though, who are opening their doors for the first time are seeing record-breaking business. WYMT's Connor James takes us to Laurel County, where that is happening.
Nestled along I-75, Laurel County's businesses sit in an ideal spot. But as COVID hit, the way businesses ran changed. Here at McQueen & Company Salon, their doors were only opened for days before closing again.
I got about a weekend of work before this whole pandemic hit, before we had to shut down. So this has been our opening week.
Katie McQueen, the salon's owner, started this for her daughter. When COVID prompted regulations caused the business to close for months, she worried about what would happen.
You know, if it's meant to be, we'll find a way. We'll keep the doors open and we'll come back better than ever. And that's what happened. I mean, he has blessed us tenfold in all of this.
But here they are, doors somewhat reopened as they only take appointment, but business this week is anything but partial.
So overall, I can honestly say that it has went as smooth can go during all this.
While some are seeing that business back, others have unfortunately decided their doors will remain closed.
So it was pretty heartbreaking. Try not to think about it, but.
This location Kelly Gay is standing in front of was once home to a dream of his.
It's always been in my head to open up my own gym. That's something I've always talked about. My wife has heard it a million times in the last 7 or 8 years.
That dream was Laurel Fitness. After years of other jobs, he eventually bought this place, which he held personal training and group classes. A place he says that allowed working out without intimidation, but that all stopped months ago.
And at that time, it was getting worse. So that's when I kind of decided to go ahead and close it up permanently.
This place is now empty. For Kelly, this is the end of a chapter, but he doesn't think it's the end of his book.
But I do still want to train clients. It's been a passion of mine to help people get in shape.
As he, along with many, just wait to see what the future holds. In Laurel County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
One business that has continued to thrive throughout the pandemic is the greenhouse and landscaping business. As many people spend more time at home, fixing up their landscaping is something they can do. Jason O'Bannon, the owner of Creekside Gardens in London, says they have continued to follow the guidelines and try to protect their customers.
Not having to take their credit card, they can swipe it themselves. They don't have to sign. We leave our greenhouse doors open. So we've kind of responded that way in how to be safe and responsible.
O'Bannon says to continue to fill the demand, he has hired additional employees and is looking to hire more. Following a judge's ruling, churches in Kentucky have been able to hold in-person services since May 10th. While some relished the opportunity, others took their time to make sure they had proper precautions and steps in place to keep the congregation safe. In Hazard at Journey Christian Church, Pastor Ben Fugit is preparing to welcome back members while practicing social distancing.
Not one time did Jesus say to his disciples, they'll know that you're my followers because you showed up for church in the middle of a blizzard or because you showed up for church during a global pandemic. But he said they'll know that you're my disciples because you love one another. And so I think that taking precautions is not a sign of fear, it's a sign of love. And so if we could use that opportunity to speak to a world that desperately needs loved on right now, why not take it?
Well said. Fugit says they'll try this format for 3 weeks and see if more changes need to be made after that. The next steps toward a COVID-19 vaccine are being made right here in Kentucky. Trials are set to begin soon. It typically takes years of hard work and research to come up with a vaccine, but the FDA is fast-tracking this treatment. Dr. Mark Adams and his team at Alliance for Multi-Specialty Research have already received a vaccine. He says it could be released to the public by early next year.
If you think about it, you're looking at the first quarter of next year, perhaps maybe second quarter.
Testing will be done on patients whom they've worked with before, but they are also accepting new clients for the trial. If you are interested, you can call the number there on your screen, 859-264-8999. A new report indicates that the pipeline that exploded last summer in Lincoln County had several defects that the site operator missed. Part of the pipeline blew back on August 1st near Junction City. 1 person was killed and 6 others were hurt. The report does not blame the explosion on the defects, but federal officials are now asking for review of the last 20 years of tests. They want to see if there are similar conditions anywhere else on the 775-mile line. A major milestone for a new company in Perry County. Dashcore Aluminum just celebrated its first shipment from the company's new facility in the Coalfields Regional Industrial Park. The company has created 22 new jobs in eastern Kentucky since we first brought you news of their arrival last year, and they hope to hire more people in the future. As summer approaches, many camps and those offering programs for kids are trying to figure out ways to still engage with children. The Challenger Learning Center in Hazard usually offers programs through the summer, but now they've decided to offer their summer programs virtually. WIMT's Emily Bennett has more on what they are planning.
This time of year, the Challenger Learning Center is usually gearing up for one of their busiest times.
30 to 100 students per day. So you can imagine that adds up pretty quickly over the course of a summer.
But this summer, children's voices and laughter will not be heard in these rooms.
You know, we've got this museum area here and it's so quiet and empty without the kids here, so we're really looking forward to getting our students back.
Earlier this year, the center started offering a Minecraft server so kids can interact together, not having to worry about COVID-19.
We can do electronic lessons and coding and even things like math and construction in that virtual world.
But now they're planning to offer their summer programs virtually, even their wildlife classes and electronics.
So we're going to be doing a mix of real-time, person-to-person instruction, but also pre-recorded videos as well.
Wanting to truly engage with their students, plans are in the works to actually give the kids a chance to have a hands-on experience.
We can actually pre-package the materials and give them physical hands-on components that they can build along with us.
Hoping before the end of summer, in-person is an option yet again.
We're already looking at our PPE and protocols to do so. We want to make sure that we are ready to go if that opportunity arises.
In Hazard, Emily Bennett, WIMT Mountain News.
The center will post updates on their website and Facebook page. If a parent has already registered their child and they cannot attend a program, they will send a refund. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, it's almost time for state parks to reopen, but that will not include one in Perry County. We'll tell you why.
Scattered showers and storms continue tomorrow. Some could be a little bit on the stronger side. I'll have those details coming up.